Alright guys, before I start this video on leopard gecko care, I just want to let you guys know that if you have been following my channel since the beginning, I did finally, well, the old computer that we did have is now up in my room, and as soon as we get Windows 10 operating system on it, I should be able to upload more consistently and upload vlogs for you guys, because that's really what I want to do. But I did want to put out a leopard care video. I've had my guy for a little over a month now, and I've just done a ton of research, and I feel like I have enough knowledge to put out a basic care video just to help new leopard gecko owners if you are starting. So that's what we're gonna get into, guys. So this is Spot. This is my Max Snow leopard gecko, and I'm just gonna give you the basic care of everything you're gonna need starting up your enclosure. These guys do take about a year and a half to get full grown. So the feeding schedule, I'm going to talk about the feeding schedule first. So for the feeding schedule, you're actually going to give these guys, you're going to feed the babies every single day, and then you're going to feed the adults about a year and a half. But I think when they're full grown, some people start doing it at like a year, some people wait till the year and a half. I'm just going to kind of see, what his eating habits are like and determine that from there. But you're going to feed the adults every other day. So I feed this guy primarily mealworms now, and then I bought him crickets just, 2 days a week he can have crickets. And if you guys, it does get expensive buying bugs, very, very expensive. I will have a link to my mealworm breeding setup in the description below so that you guys can see how I'm doing it if you want to breed your own mealworms and go that route. And before I go any further, guys, I just want to give a huge shout out to Leopard Gecko on YouTube. I will leave her link in the description. She definitely gave me so much knowledge on, taking care of a leopard gecko, and a lot of the stuff I am getting off of her channel, the knowledge that she has given me, and I'm grateful that her channel gives it so much knowledge to new leopard gecko owners, because she's really helped me out with Spot here, and Spot's been doing really, really well. He's shedded already. He's getting this nice yellow tint to him. He didn't have that when I got him. I did get him from PetSmart, but I would recommend that you guys do not do that. I was really just kind of ignorant to the whole PetSmart and Petco thing. You really don't want to buy from those stores. There is a store here in Brandon, Florida, that does sell reptiles, and I would probably buy from them. They seem to really take care of their animals. So moving on to his enclosure. So I'm going to get into his enclosure setup here. So it is a 20-gallon long tank, and over on the left-hand side, let's start with the hides. Well, actually, let's start with the substrate here. So for the substrate, you're going to either need some type of coconut fiber. Eco Earth is a really good one, I've heard, but I use Repti Carpet. Repti Carpet's really easy to clean. You can just put it in your washer and dryer. I wash it by hand, and then I just throw it in the dryer maybe every like 2 weeks or so, and I clean up his poop daily. So for the hides, you're going to want to have a dry and dry hide and then a moist hide. The dry hide serves as a purpose of him being able to, just kind of like feel safe, and at the same time you should have his heat source underneath of it. So what I use is a heat mat, because geckos do require belly heat. You don't really need a heat light. That's not going to benefit them as well. You're going to need a heat mat. I do have one plugged underneath. It is right here, and it goes directly underneath his dry hide. So I actually have one set up for a 30 to 40 gallon tank, even though this is a 20. The other one was not doing me as good for the 10 to 20, and I upgraded. And I have a retrostat, I believe it is called. Retrostat, something like that. And you can see his probe in there. And then over here, it controls his temperature. Right now, it is 90.1 in his tank. And I have it set for 91. You're going to want to keep it anywhere between 87 and 94. Anything above 94 could burn them. Anything less than that could make them not be able to digest their food properly. That's why they use belly heat, is to digest their food. And so I have it set, and once it gets to 91, it shuts off, and then once it gets to about 88 degrees, it'll flip back on. Come here, buddy. So that is for the dry hide. That is pretty much all you're going to need for the dry hide. And then moving on to the moist hide on the other side, I'm going to show you guys the actual moss that I put in there in just a second. So I'm using this terrarium moss here from ZooMed. And all you have to do is just put a little bit in there and then just spray it down with some water. As you guys can see, I have hardly made a dent, and I've had him for over a month now. And you can actually wash this moss like 5 times before needing to replace it. So this stuff is going to last you a very long time. Just get it's 10 gallon. It's for a 10-gallon tank, but since you're not using it as a substrate, it's going to last you. Just ZooMed terrarium moss. There is some other moss that looks a little prettier, but the dyes and it's going to be runny, and it's more expensive, and there's not as much. Just get this stuff. You're not looking at it, so just get yourself some ZooMed terrarium moss there. And then what I've used is a Tupperware container. His other hide that I had him was not really holding in moisture very well, and so I took a Tupperware container and I cut a little hole in it for him, and then I took a little lighter and I melted the outside, so that way when he goes in there, I've actually never seen him use it. I'm sure he has, but I've never seen him use it. But that way he can't get cut. And I know he's shedded fine, so there's enough moisture obviously in the tank. Whether he uses it or not, I think he still goes over there. And so that still allows him to get that moisture in his skin. He actually looks like he's about to shed pretty soon here, like within a week or two. So that's really cool. He's going to shed again, and every time he shed, he has been getting more of his yellow leopard collar. So, all right, moving on from the moist hide, your food and you can have a minimum of 2 dishes. You might want to use 3. I just use 2 to prevent overcrowding of the enclosure. You're going to need a water dish with fresh, clean water. Use some Repti. Let me show you guys real quick what you want to put. So you're going to want to put some type of chlorinator in your water, because your water could contain chemicals that are not necessarily healthy for your reptile. So I use AquaSafe, good for amphibians and reptiles. I had a turtle in the past, and this stuff doesn't expire, so it's still good. I just put a little drop of his water. You're going to want to change his water out, if not every day, like every other day. Just don't let it, just sit there and get still water. Make sure it's fresh and clean for your little guy. The next thing you're going to want is a calcium dish. Now, what calcium does is prevents your gecko from getting bone disease. Bone disease, they cannot heal from it, and they're forever going to be disformed. You don't want that. That's very painful for your gecko, and you're not going to want to put them through that. And it's very easy to prevent, but it's often overlooked. So you're going to need some Repti calcium. This is without D3. I'll explain to you guys what that means in a second. So this is ZooMed's Repti calcium. Cost me $6 at my local reptile store. I actually have 2 containers of this. This will last forever. Definitely probably have like a 2-year supply worth of it. What you're going to want to do is dust his crickets, mealworms, whatever you can. I try to dust. A lot of times it doesn't. I try to dust, but at the same time, he does have calcium in there. So if their bodies, if they feel like they need calcium, they know how much they need, and they will go lick that up. He goes all the time at night. Not all the time, but I'd say I see him probably once or twice a week, and he goes and he licks up some calcium. So he's definitely getting his calcium that he needs. This is without D3, which means it's without vitamins. So in the wild, they're going to have the sun that gives them their vitamins, but in captivity, they don't have that. So this is the one without D3, because I feel like there wouldn't be enough D3 in here to make much of a difference. So what I like to do is I went out and I bought ZooMed's vitamins with D3, and it has a bunch of other vitamins for them. What I do is I dust this twice a week, and then I dust his calcium 5 times a week onto his mealworms, and that's what he eats. And it's going to turn the crickets like a little white collar, or mealworms white, but he gets his vitamins and his calcium that way. So moving on, I have a little light here that does not produce heat. There's a lot of mixed emotions on it. Geckos can't see red, but some people say that they can see it like as a white light. Well, this red light, I'm not going to turn it on right now, but Actually, I'll flip it on for you guys here. It doesn't produce any heat, and as you can see, it's not bright. It's very dim, and it produces no heat whatsoever, and it seems to not bother him. He comes out at night all the time, and I'm allowed to see him, and he's a lot more tame since I got him. Loves to be held. Very, very cool gecko. I love my little guy. And that's pretty much all you're going to need to know. You're going to need to feed them, obviously, as a baby every day. You're going to need to give them their calcium, their vitamins. Make sure they have a heat mat. Make sure they have their 2 hides, one dry and one moist. And you guys should be set on if you're wanting to get a little leopard gecko like Spot here. So I hope you guys did enjoy the video. I hope this helped you guys if you're looking into getting a leopard gecko. Make sure you do your research definitely before you hop into these animals. They are very expensive. I spent about $350 plus on him. The initial setup and the mealworms setup and food. So I'd recommend you guys breed your own mealworms or crickets. Crickets, they do tend to stink. That's why I breed mealworms, and about twice a week or once a week I'll go to the store and get about 10 crickets for them. So that's pretty much it, guys. Hope you did enjoy. I hope you guys learned information from this video. I've really enjoyed having him over the last month and a half. He's been a great just animal. Very fun to have. I've wanted one since I was probably in like 6th or 7th grade, so it's awesome to finally be able to have one, and I've had nothing but success with them so far. That's pretty much it, guys. I hope you did enjoy. Smash that like button for me. Please hit that subscribe button for me. I'm going to be doing more videos on leopard geckos for sure. Going to be doing some vlogs and stuff like that. Just waiting on this computer to get fixed, but I definitely did want to produce this video out for you guys because a lot of people are wanting to get leopard geckos, and I hope this video did help. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.